He has arrived, ladies and gentlemen. Kai freaking Havertz is here. Havertz, however you pronounce it, I don't care. He's such a good player. What a transfer window it has been. How's it going, everyone? I am the Blue Hermit. Welcome to the channel. This is my first official video. We're going to be talking about Chelsea's transfers and some realistic goals for this season. I feel like we need to bring it down to earth. I feel like people might get carried away. I don't know. I haven't really seen much reactions, but hopefully people, keep certain things in mind. But this transfer window has been absolutely insane. I have cried, been so happy, laughed. Happiness has come back to me after all this time in quarantine. So to quickly go over, we got Timo Werner, big man Timo, Ben Chilwell, Thiago Silva, Malang Sarr, and Kai Havertz. I'm going to include Hakim Ziyech, even though we got him back in the winter, but I'm going to go ahead and include him here since he just barely got to the club. For me, I really like the signings. Obviously, I feel like that goes without a doubt. So let me go in order here, starting with Ziyech. Ziyech? Not sure. We'll go with Ziyech for this video. Next video might be different. Who knows? So Ziyech, what I really love from him, especially in his time at Ajax, was his creativity. He's a very, very creative player, and I love it. He's fast, he's agile, he's nimble. He can play anywhere, in your front line, right midfield, left midfield, wingers, well, maybe not striker, center attacking mid. He's a very forward player. He's a very creative player. And I think that was most on display in the friendly against Brighton. On that goal, that cross he put in was just wow. Like, it was so perfectly placed. Who would think to just launch it there from near half field? Or was it near half field? It was kind of near half field. Regardless, he just launches it in, lands right at Hudson-Odoi, who passes it off to Werner, who finishes it. I really like this player's creativity. My one big issue with Hakim is injuries. And right away, in that Brighton friendly, to bring it up again, since it's the only thing I have to go off right now, he gets injured. Now, I haven't seen how serious it is. I don't remember seeing it in the news or anything, but I think that if he can stay healthy, he can be a huge addition to the team. But if he's constantly benched or sidelined by injuries, and unfortunately, I'm not gonna say like it's a waste of money, but it's really gonna be it's gonna suck a lot. So I just hope he can stay healthy. If he stays healthy, great. He'll link up really well with, I feel like, everyone on the team, and he'll be a huge addition to the starting 11. Next, Timo Werner. Now, this guy is electric. He's fast. He's got nice, technique. He's got good finishing, and I am really excited to see him play. I want to see him. I mean, he already scored against De Gea. At this point, when I recorded this, it's the day after, or is it 2 days after Germany played against Spain? He's already scored against De Gea, so that's a good start. And I'm excited to see how he does against Premier League defenses. Obviously, he's been in the Bundesliga for so long, but he tore up the Champions League last season, and he did very, very well against European teams. So hopefully it's a good sign for what's to come. I mean, Leipzig smashed Spurs. That's a good sign. I know Werner had a big part. So hopefully he can bring those, goal scoring capabilities to Chelsea. And another thing is I hope he brings that something out of Tammy. That's another part of the Timo Werner transfer that I like, is hopefully Tammy Abraham, if you don't know, sees Werner sees him coming in as a challenge and really pushes himself to step up and try his hardest to get that starting spot. Because imagine if we have two strikers who are just scoring for fun, or we'd be unstoppable. All right, so next I'm gonna go ahead and go to Kai Havertz, even though he's the most recent one. Again, young. He's probably the youngest. Maybe Sarr is the youngest signing we've had. I think they're both younger than Chilwell. I think Chilwell's like 23. Havertz is young. He's got a very bright future, and he's already proved that he's a capable player. I have seen some. I need to check out more, but some of his highlights and stuff like that. And he's impressive. He's impressive to watch. He's going to add a lot to this midfield, and again, a lot to the attack. That's what I like about these 3 transfers, Ziyech, Werner, and Havertz, is they're going to add so much to the attack. Creativity, pace, just a whole new breath of fresh air, right, that we need. Well, I'll go over that in a second, but it'll be very, very, very nice when they come in and to see how well they mesh together. Especially, like, chemistry is a big thing. Like, we can sign all these players, but the question is, do they mesh? So that'll be it's going to be very exciting to watch them play. They are exciting players regardless. So now we move to our defensive substitutions. Transfers. Ben Chilwell was the transfer that was probably always going to happen. It was just a matter of breaking down Leicester and seeing how much we were going to have to pay for him. That was really the thing. They wanted 80. I believe we paid 60. I think was that pounds or dollars? That might have been pounds, but which is roughly like $70 to $90, whatever. Again, another young defender who's looked very good in the Premier League at times. He's solid in the back. I'm not sure about his attacking capabilities, but more importantly for Chelsea right now is his defensive capabilities, and I think he can add something. It was a very good addition, and we needed some cover. We needed these defensive players. Now, Thiago Silva is a very, very low risk, potentially high reward. We don't know. He's 35, which isn't obviously not ideal to have, a player who's kind of in the twilight of their career, but regardless, he can potentially add something very important to this team, and I feel like that's leadership. Like, I love Azpilicueta. I love him, I really do, but I feel like as a captain, as a leader, I don't know. I feel like he just really hasn't proven himself. Maybe Thiago Silva can be that voice, or maybe he can, help Azpi learn how to like motivate and talk to his team, especially during games, right? So I think Thiago Silva can either add something to our starting 11. Hopefully he can be a player that can play, maybe not week in, week out, but really come on, be in our starting 11 and have an impact on that defense. Be a leader for the team. Show them how to work together, how to be a team, how to mesh, how to do all that stuff. Be a captain, be a leader. C, he has that veteran status. We have young defenders, Reece James, Fikayo Tomori. He can show them the ropes. He can pretty much just show them the ropes. He can help them develop and grow and be better players. That's why I like this Thiago Silva transfer. I really do. It's on a free. We just had to pick up his contract. He's only signed on for a year, so if it goes wrong, bye. And I really hope it doesn't, but it's low risk, potentially very high reward. Okay. Now Malang Sarr is the last big one. I don't know about now. I know he was in free agency. It's again another free transfer, which is good. Potentially low risk, potentially high reward. He's young. He was very highly rated in England, or not England, France. Nice. He was a hot prospect at one point. If I remember correctly, and not sure what happened. I mean, I hear so many mixed things about him. It's tough, but he's still young. He still has time to develop. Again, another young defender that Thiago Silva can potentially help mentor and show the ropes. I hope that he can come up through the ranks. Frankie has done a very good job of, showing these players what it takes to win and giving them that game time and helping them grow and develop. Even though we were thrown into a position where he kind of had to, but I think again, low risk, potentially very high reward. Now, overall, these transfers, I'm very happy with. I am, and that goes without saying. I feel like all of us Chelsea fans are very happy with these transfers. We got 3 creative attackers who are just gonna add so much, whole different dimension to the team, which hopefully will lead to some even more exciting. That's the thing, is last season our attacking football was exciting. It was exciting. Our passing, our movement, our pace, the counterattacks, all of it. It was pretty exciting to watch Chelsea. It was just the back end is where we failed the most. That's why I like these transfers. We didn't necessarily need help in midfield. I wouldn't have been opposed to them signing a central midfielder. Again, didn't really need it, so priorities are obviously going to be elsewhere. If they make that kind of signing, cool. If not, cool. It's not a big deal. Now, we signed 3 attackers, essentially. 3 defenders. My big thing right now is a goalkeeper. I tried with Kepa. I really wanted him to live up to that price tag, but I feel like it was just too much pressure. I feel like it was just too much for him. He got in his own head, and I don't know if he can come back from that. It's a lot like Morata, the whole situation with him. And I want to believe that he can come back and do something, but at the same time, we need someone else. I love Caballero, I do, but I feel like him, day in and day out, how old is he, like 36, 37? His body's going to catch up to him eventually. Well, I mean, I say that there are certain players who are still that old and playing. But regardless, we still need another keeper. Whether they get a young prospect, sort of like Henderson or something like, I don't know, but we need another keeper. Simple as that. A keeper who could potentially start or could start right off the bat. I don't really think we should get a young prospect right now. We should get someone who can get some game time and realistically do well in goal, do what he has to do in goal. Now, I will give Kepa a little bit of leeway. Our defense was awful last season. Let's be perfectly honest. It was not great. That doesn't excuse some of the things he did. However, if your defense keeps breaking down in front of you, it's tough. You're gonna fall apart eventually. Excuse me. Now, 2 people we lost, which I hate to see them go, but I'm glad that they did go. Obviously, the big ones, Willian and Pedro. Both players who received a lot of criticism, especially over the last couple seasons. Some criticisms were right, some were a little too much, in my opinion. Willian's biggest one, probably him losing the ball a lot, which is something I agree with. Pedro, he's a good finisher. I'll give him that. He's not the most creative, where I think Willian is with the more creative player. He sort of just does something out of nowhere. It was exciting to see him play, and it does suck to see them go. But I'm glad that they left, because honestly, that would have created a big headache for Lampard to try and figure out when they're going to play. Of course they're going to want to play. Of course they are. So it was going to create a big headache for Lampard to try and figure out where, when, how they were ever going to play. Because honestly, I wouldn't want to see them in the starting lineup when I have Ziyech, Werner, Hudson-Odoi, Pulisic. I'd rather see them right now. This club, we're coming out of a transition. We need to just continue keep that ball rolling. The transition, we're starting to come out of it. So from the back, it's tough. From the back, we got help now. Okay, we got some help. We got some reinforcements in. I feel like that should have been the number 1 priority, but regardless, we signed some big attacking players, so I can't really complain. And it was clear that they had the defense in mind the whole time. So from the back, I think with these new transfers, we at least have more options to play around with if things start to go wrong. But more so, I feel like these players could actually add something to defense. Most namely, I think Chilwell. I think Silva, for me, is not necessarily like a 50-50, but like a 80-20. 80, he adds something, 20, he might not. So it's a bit tough because he's 35 years old. He's been playing for a hot minute, but he's still there. He still plays very well at times. He's still a solid defender. So I think he can add something. And Sars is probably the one where I'm 50-50. Maybe he won't make an immediate impact, but hopefully in the future he will. Right now, I could see our defense being probably Chilwell, maybe Aspie and Thiago Silva, maybe Thiago Silva and Tamori, which is one that I'd really love to see, and then Reece James on the right. And keep, for now, it's probably still going to be Kepa. It's tough, but for me, I think next season is going to be big for Tamori, big for Reece James. They're both players who excelled at different points during the season and also had problems through different parts of the season. Reece James on the attacking front was solid. He looked good. He reminded me a bit of Alexander-Arnold, and that's a good comparison. That's someone he should try to emulate a bit. Jordi Alba would be another one, or like Marcelo. Those would be some good players for him to try and emulate on, in the fullback position. I know they're both left backs, but he looked pretty solid defensively, but going forward more so, he added a whole different dimension to the attack. And then Tamori was, for his age, he was very composed, very calm, cool. Two players would be coming at him and he'd be able to get the ball off or the pass off like nothing. And I want to see more of that from him. That's why I think this next season is going to be crucial for both of them as to how much they develop, how much they grow, how much they get better. So moving from defense to midfield, we're solid. That's why I don't really mind if they don't sign a midfielder. It's not a priority. Honestly, our midfield is probably the best part of our team last season. Between Kovacic, Jorginho, and Conte, when the three of them were starting, man, they looked good. They looked really good. That's why I don't think it was really necessary. Our substitutions, Loftus-Cheek is still getting better. He's still growing. He just needs to avoid those injuries. Ross Barkley at times looked very solid. At times, not so much. So hopefully he can try and continue on his upward trend. He was a bit on. We have some good substitutes to bring on just in case. Billy Gilmore, again, another player who this season is going to be very crucial for his growth and how he develops, and hopefully he keeps getting better because he does look a lot like Fabregas. He reminds me a lot of Fabregas, and that is a very good thing. And hopefully he can surpass Fabregas and become better than he ever was for Chelsea. And I love Fabregas. Don't take that out of context or whatever. I love Fabregas, but I just want Billy Gilmore to be even better, right? Obviously. Oh wait, I didn't even bring up Mason Mount. Duh. He played every game in the Premier League last season. How can I not bring him up? I hope he keeps growing too. He looked, again, another player who, not quite, I think he looked better than Ross Barkley most of the time, but there were other times where he did struggle. I like him more as a center mid because I was kind of thinking him as a winger, but I like him a lot more as a center mid, center attacking mid. That's the interesting competition between him and Havertz. Havertz is a midfielder too. How could I forget? Duh. It's going to be very interesting. The competition between them, between Conte. I feel like Jorginho and Kovacic, I feel like Conte will probably be the only guaranteed starter, assuming he stays healthy. And even then, I'm not 100% certain. That midfield could rotate a lot. He could go like a 4-5-1, he being Lampard. And Lampard can do a whole lot with this team now. And it's very exciting to see what he's going to do and what he's going to bring this season. On the front side, we look good. We weren't really hurting, but it was nice to get some reinforcements for the forwards. Pulisic, again, another player who, if he avoids injuries, man, he can light it up. He can light it up this season, and I really hope he comes out this season swinging, and I'm really excited to see him. There was this particular goal against Crystal Palace that he scored where I got kind of flashes of Hazard because out of nowhere he just produced something, and I want to see more of that, and that's why I love Ziyech too. His ability to just kind of create out of nowhere. But on the front side, I think we're good. I think we have players who will mesh well together, who will link up well, who will add this pace and creativity that we really haven't seen for a while. We really haven't seen that kind of creativity and pace and counterattacking. I feel like it's gonna be big thing to watch, mark my words, is the counterattacking football we're going to play. I really hope that we're just as exciting to watch this season as we were last season. More so, actually. More so. Now, overall for this next season, we need to have some realistic targets. I know a lot of people, I've already seen it on like Twitter and stuff, of pretty much title or bust. We need trophies. Fair. We've made some big transfers, and yes, we should have more expectations. Last season, Lampard had smaller expectations because of what we were dealing with, but now this season, he definitely is going to have much higher expectations from all of the fans, from everybody watching, from, you know, people around the world. He's going to have more expectations this season, yes. But to say, let's win the Premier League first season, let's complete the treble first season with all these new transfers, I don't think that's very realistic. I'm going to be perfectly honest with you. What I do think is realistic is us making it at the very least, top 3. I feel like that's not too out of this world. I feel like as long as, in the Premier League, as long as we stay close to Liverpool and City, who I know everyone's going to keep their eyes on this season, as long as we stay relatively close to them, I feel like that'll be success in my book. Because, I mean, look at the last 2 seasons. Liverpool won with 99 points, and then City won with what, 100 on the dot, and then Liverpool was in second with 97. So if we can manage to keep up with that, if we can get in the 90s in the points, even if we still lose, I'll still consider that a success. You know, obviously yes. I want to win everything. Don't get me wrong. Of course, I want Chelsea to win Premier League, FA Cup, and the EFL Cup, I guess, and the Champions League. Of course, I want them to win everything, but let's be a little realistic. Okay, it's if it happens, awesome, amazing. But if it doesn't, we can't get too mad. Now, if we're struggling, we're in 4th, 5th, struggling for Champions League football, then there's a problem. That's a problem. But if we're genuinely contending the whole season, you know, and City and Liverpool just so happen to be better, or whoever will challenge, we can't get mad at that. That's an improvement over the last, 2 or 3 seasons, right? So that's for the Premier League. For the Champions League, I want to at least see Chelsea get to the quarters. I think that's a realistic goal. I think they can do it. I want to see them challenge these other big European teams. You know, Bayern, I mean, granted, Bayern were out of this world last season, but still, we really didn't contend. Out of over the 180 minutes, we're probably in it for like 20. To be perfectly honest with you, we can't have that anymore. We need to be able to at the very least, even if the team still beats us 4-0, whatever, as long as people can say like, oh, like, that didn't really feel like 4-0. I feel like Chelsea deserved more. Then I hate to say it, but that's a good thing. That's an improvement. Obviously, I don't want to lose 4-0 again. But we need to have some realistic goals. So I think if we can get to the quarterfinals at least, first of all, that's a huge improvement over our last 2 Champions League performances. But I think if we can get there, I think we'll have a taste of what it's going to take to get all the way to the final. Do I think realistically next season we're going to get to the final? It's tough. It's really tough. It's really tough because a lot of these other teams in all these other leagues are just seemingly getting stronger. You know, you have Bayern, who, again, looked out of this world. PSG, who made it to the final and looked really good while doing it most of the time. And you have Juventus. Juventus is Juventus. They're always going to contend. And then Barcelona, maybe. Then that's a whole different video that I can do. Real Madrid, more than likely. You have Atletico, if they can, keep it consistent. You have City, Liverpool. I mean, you have teams in the Champions League who aren't going to be easy at all. They're going to be tough. And if we can contend, if we can get to the quarterfinals, I feel like the quarterfinals is when the strongest teams come out. The round of 16s, you have, maybe some teams that pulled off some upsets and made it through, and then they lose in the round of 16. I feel like the quarters is where the real teams show up. So if we can get to the quarters and we can seriously contend, that's a realistic target for us. I think so. So overall for this season, I do hope we at least come away with a trophy, FA Cup, Premier League, Champions League. Who knows? Hopefully that's the dream, is that we come away with at least a trophy this season. But we can't get too upset at the end of the season if we don't have any. We need to really look back and see how we improved, or if we improved, and how much we might have improved. So overall for this season, I like our transfers. I like where we're headed. I like that we're setting some higher goals. I do want to see Chelsea really contend. I do. I really want to see them contend for everything. Okay. I want them to be in the finals of the FA Cup again. It comes down to the final day in the Premier League, where we comfortably have it 10 games in hand. We smash through the Champions League. I really want to see that, but let's have some realistic goals, obviously. As long as Chelsea can contend in every competition, I'll consider the season a success. So those are my thoughts on everything, my thoughts on all the transfers so far, all the news that we've had, and how I think we're going to perform next season. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. Please, if you enjoyed my video, you liked hearing me talk, go ahead and leave a like, subscribe to the channel, leave that bell on so you know when I upload. Go check out my Twitter, BlueHermit1. Go check out my Instagram, whose handle I still don't remember. Hold on one second. It is BlueHermit_. Check me out on Instagram, BlueHermit_. On Twitter, BlueHermit1. Please share the socials with all your friends. Let the people know that the Blue Hermit is where you're going to get all your news. And I'll see you guys later.